Hello sir, I am Prince Sharma. Today I will be presenting my topic Apple M1 and M2 ARM based system on chip architecture under our COA project. The case study focuses on how Apple's transition from Intel to its own ARM based processor revolutionized modern computing. Let's start with an overview of M1 and M2 processors. Apple introduced the M1 chip in 2020, followed by the M2 in 2022, both built using 5 nanometer process technology. The M1 includes an 8 core, 4 CPU performance cores, and 4 efficiency cores, along with a 7 or 8 core GPU and a 16 core neural engine. The M2 refines this further with a 10 core GPU and up to 24 GB of unified memory. Together, they deliver an exceptional performance per watt efficiency for MacBooks. Now let's see why Apple chose ARM architecture. ARM architecture is followed on the RISC philosophy, that is reduced instruction set computing. It uses a simpler and uniform instruction sets, which executes faster and consumes less power. Unlike traditional architectures, ARM separates memory operations from computation, improving pipelining efficiency. This results in higher speed, lower heat generation, preferred for portable devices like MacBook. Now let's compare the ARM RISC design with Intel's RISC architecture. In this comparison, ARM uses simple fixed length instruction while Intel relies on complex variable length instructions. ARM achieves lower power consumption and higher efficiency, whereas CISC tends to run at higher clock speed but consumes more power. Overall, ARM drives efficiency and performance per millimeter, which explains Apple's simple move in ARM silicon. Now let's explore the design inside the system of M1 and M2 SoCs. The CPU cluster combines performance and efficiency codes for dynamic power management. The CPU cluster handles high throughput graphic processing. A 16-core neural network accelerates AI and machine learning tasks, and the unified memory allows all units, CPU, GPU, and neural engine to share data without expensive memory copying. Now let's break down this further into CPU, GPU, and memory details. CPU. The performance core handles demanding workloads while the efficiency core takes care of lighter background tasks. The GPU in M1 and M2 is fully integrated, which means there is no separate VRAM, for both CPU and GPU use the same unified memory. The unified memory drastically boosts performance, reduces latency, and helps in works like video rendering and editing. Now let's look deeper into the cache hierarchy and memory systems. Each core in M1 and M2 has a 192 KB instruction cache and 128 KB data cache, extremely fast and efficient. Then comes the level 2 cache or L2 cache, 4 MB in M1 and 8 MB in M2. Both have larger capacity for working sets. The LPDDR4X and LPDDR5 unified memory helps in designing minimum latency. Now let's see how this architecture performs in real-world benchmarks. Despite lower clock speeds in M1 and M2, it delivers up to 15 to 25% higher IPC than Intel's 11th gen core processors. They achieve comparably multi-threaded performance to mid-range Ryzen and Core i7 chips, but are 5 to 8 times more power efficient. Now let's see the security features that makes Apple so reliable. The Secure Enclave is an isolated coprocessor that protects the encryption keys, Touch ID, Face ID, data, and secure boot processes. The Pointer Authentication Code (PAC) adds cryptographic signatures to pointers, helps preventing flow hijacking attacks. Additionally, the memory tagging extension detects and stops memory corruption errors at hardware level that is not seen in Intel processors. Now let's see how these features translate into real-world use cases. In video editing tools like Final Cut Pro, runs up to 6 times faster on M1 and M2 compared to an Intel i7 system. And also the power consumption is 30 times less. In AI ML workloads, Neural Engine delivers sub 10 milliseconds processing that gives a private edge device. Even in software development, compilers like Xcode and container tools like Docker run efficiently due to its architectural differences. So, in conclusion, Apple's M1 and M2 chips represent a new era of heterogeneous computing. They combine high power, performance, efficiency, and a hardware level security in a single integrated chip. The shift to ARM based RISC design not only broke Apple's dependency on Intel but also proved RISC architectures outperform CISC even on low end devices. In short, the M1 and M2 SoCs are perfect example of modern intelligent and energy efficient process. Now, to simulate how the M1 works on a CPU, I will be simulating a code for a Fibonacci series number generation on my PC that is running a Ubuntu on a Gem 5 simulator. So let's move to the simulator. So here I am on my Ubuntu virtual machine and it is running currently Gem 5. So the program I will be writing generates and prints the first 10 Fibonacci numbers using the Linux system calls on ARM64 environment. It's a perfect small scale example of how RISC architectures handle arithmetic looping and function calls efficiently. Mm, So here is a program. These are the header files. The data section defines the three text strings, one for heading Fibonacci sequence, one for a single space, and another for a new line. These are used when printing each number on screen, showing how we can handle outputs directly in assembly language using system calls. We start the label start, which is the program's entry point. The first few instructions print the heading messages using the Linux syscalls, which is identified by syscall number 64. Here registers X0 hold the file description for standard output, X1 stores the memory address of message, and X2 carries the length of the string. Finally, SVC0 executes the system call. This structure shows how direct low-level hardware interaction works with ARM system. Now we will be initializing the Fibonacci variables. We are setting up three registers, X20 for first number initialized to 0, X21 for second number initialized to 1, and X22 for the loop that we set for the counter 10. These registers act as fast access storage since RISC design is every operation performance directly on registers rather than memory. The execution is done on loads function load store. Now comes the Fibonacci loop part. The loop begins at the label 5 loop. Each iteration performs three main actions. First, it copies the current Fibonacci numbers from X20 to X3 and calls the print number subroutine to display it. Second, it prints a space after the number using another write syscall. Third, it calculates the next Fibonacci numbers with add X23, X20 and X21, then updates the variable X21 becomes X20 and X21 becomes X23. Finally, the instruction subs X22, X22 hash 1 decrements the counter, and if it's not 0, the loop jumps back to continue. This shows the predictable operation, allowing the CPU to execute them in a cleared and a pipelined flow. Now the program ends and exits syscall. After all 10 numbers are printed, the program writes a new line character and performs a clean exit using syscall 93. The Linux exits. Now comes the subroutine part, which prints the number on the terminal, which is the most efficient part of ARM architecture. This function converts the numeric value stored in X3 into ASCII format so it can be printed as readable digits. It repeatedly divides the number by 10 using udib instruction and extracts the remainder with msub. Each remainder is then converted into a character by adding 0 and stored backward in a small memory buffer. Once all the digits are processed, the buffer's address and length are passed to the write syscall to print the number. This process demonstrates the manual number to string conversion at the assembly level, a clear example of low level computation control in RISC systems. Now I'll be saving this code and running it. First, we have to build the code. So over here you can see the Fibonacci sequences generated. The first 10 Fibonacci numbers, namely 0, 1, 1, 2, 3, 5, 8, 13, 21 and 34 are printed on the terminal of the ARM architecture. So with this I end my presentation. Hope you would have liked my explanation of ARM architecture used by Apple M1 softwares. And currently M4 and M5 processors are also introduced in the market, which are using the same instruction set architecture. Thank you.